all we had left to do was deploy, and it ended up taking so many hours to push all of that data into the contracts as far as crediting people. So, the previous attitude was when we have 90% of it done, we'll push a countdown, and when that countdown is 0, we'll go live, and then it was, we'll get everything finished, so all we need to do is deploy, and when the countdown is 0, we'll go live, and due to the huge amount of data that need to be parsed into the crediting contracts, doing it like that still resulted in, by the time we got to 0, it was still crediting. So I will never allow that to happen again, and the way we will ensure that never happens again is by getting to the point where all we need to do is unpause, and that's it, and it goes live. And right now, we are close to that point, so I guess there's enough people in here, so I'll just get right into it. Okay, so basically, 2 days ago, I think it was. My days are kind of blurred because I've been staying up for so long, and then and waking up at weird hours and stuff. But 2 days ago, we gave, or a day ago, we gave access to the DAO, so they could see all of their stakes in Piggy Bank and the credit contract and all of these. And people were shocked, right? People were shocked at the value that they're getting in V2. And this caused, a dozen people, or even more, in the DAO group to forward and screenshot their stakes in V2 to ask if it was correct. So we didn't want to, before we checked this, we didn't want to make the site live to everybody, even though we automated the whole process. So we knew it was correct. We still wanted to be super diligent and listen to people's requests to confirm whether their stake was correct or not. And when we did, of course, we realized it was correct. Now, the reason why people are getting so much more value and why they were shocked is due to two things. I would say most importantly is due to us starting with a much higher seed value. And this is the equivalent to starting with much higher liquidity. So with the piggy bank, in order to set the price, we needed to trick the contract into thinking there was liquidity pair in there. This sets the price and also determines the price impact of buyers that come in after, because it acts as if there's a liquidity pool there. Now, in V1, we started with a seed amount that was equal to the starting seed amount we did with Drip Garden, which was 20 ETH. And because of this, the initial boughter and the few people that bought after him mooned the price like over 5,000x, right, in the first few minutes. And this is why, when we adjusted this to it being 100,000 ETH starting seed, it took orders that would, in V1, pump the price 100x, and now that same order in V2 only moves the price, 0.01%. And because of this, people who bought even hours after launch are getting 50x more value, 100x more value, huge, like way more value. And this is because instead of that value going to the botter, it's now going to everybody in the system. And I told everybody beforehand, it's everybody is going to get substantially more value. People didn't realize how much more value they would get, so they were shocked when they saw it. And I knew it would be substantially more value, but really until you run the numbers and have all the transactions go through, there's no way for me to even have an accurate depiction of what it would be. And even to me, it was exciting, like very exciting to see, because I knew it would be substantially more, but the rate at which people are being credited in V2 is much better. And this is because that initial botter pumped the price of truffles 7,000x, 8,000x, somewhere around there. So that means that everybody that bought after him got way less than they should have, which is the whole reason for us doing this V2. And now with that botter removed and with the higher seed value to make the price impact of users when they deposit fair, virtually everybody in the system is getting multiples more value, way more than even we expected they would get, and so much more that the DAO was just shocked. And the plan was, we'll let the DAO see it. The DAO will confirm that they see their stakes and everything's cool, which we knew it was, but just have them confirm it before we push it to the wider audience. And when we did that, everybody was shocked, right? Like, is this correct? Is this correct? Am I really getting this much more? Like, everybody. So that's why we were like, all right, let's just go over all of these requests to make sure, like, just to confirm what we already know, that yes, it is correct, and yes, you are getting that much more value. And it's due to the fact that it's due to the fact that every buyer is now having a reasonable price impact, which means the person that buys after him gets about an equal amount of value as the person before them, with just a slight change in truffle price, very slight change. Whereas before, the change in truffle price between each buyer was extreme, and this heavily diluted the value of everybody. And the further out you went from the initial buyer, the more value was taken away from you, and all of this value is corrected in V2. So there is only one more thing that we have left to do, right? And this is something that I decided I wanted to do yesterday when we were talking. And in the credited contract, where you determine whether you want to be credited to Piggy Bank or to the Pigpen, if you want to be credited to Piggy Bank, you have to send BUSD into the credit contract. It will then pair that BUSD with you. It will then pair that BUSD with your credited pigs on PancakeSwap, return the LPs, and send those LPs to the piggy bank to credit you with a stake in piggy bank. Now, we used a static allowed slippage for this V2 credit contract, which means everybody has the same allowed slippage, right? Which is 10%. Now, the reason why I want to adjust this, which we've already done it, we've already changed this in the contract, so it's ready to go. But I'm just letting people know why we made this change and what the state is right now. The reason why I changed this is because I want people to be able to set the allowed slippage that they want, instead of having it being locked in at everybody for 10%. Why? because if the allowed slippage is too low and the price is mooning when you go to use the piggy bank credit contract, and the price pumps more than 10% while you're waiting for your transaction to confirm, it will fail because now the price is outside of your allowed slippage, and it will fail. Now, if we completely remove this allowed slippage and just made everybody's allowed slippage, 100%, then I've never seen this happen, but thinking about it logically, it is possible. What someone could do is, if someone had a wide open allowed slippage, meaning they're going to allow the contract to return them anything, if they're adding a very large amount of liquidity, someone could front run, pump the price before that liquidity is added, and then dump into the higher liquidity pool. Now, the solution to this, of course, is just to have an allowed slippage. So you limit the price increase that you're willing to accept for the transaction to go through. And we didn't want, so if it was, sorry, I have family over and my dog. So if the allowed slippage was too small, it causes people's transactions to fail. If it's too high, it could potentially allow for a front running situation. So the answer to this is the answer that Uniswap and PancakeSwap and all of the dexes have developed, is just to allow everybody to set their own slippage. So if they're setting it very low, they know there's no possibility that they get their order front run. But if the price pumps past their allowed slippage, it will fail. And if they set it too high, then they know the likelihood of it failing is very low, but they could be front run. So the solution is really putting the option in the hand of the investor to determine what kind of risk they want of their transaction failing if it's too low or getting front run if it's too high. Now, people actually getting front run from adding liquidity, I've never actually seen it where someone adds a large amount of liquidity with too high allowed slippage and someone then front runs that liquidity add to pump the price and then dumps after liquidity has been added into deeper liquidity. I've never seen that done, but just looking at it from a logical perspective, it is possible. Now, what people do is if someone does a very large buy with too high allowed slippage, then someone will front run it. Then that person does the large buy, pumps the price, and then they dump after. That happens all the time. I've never seen it happen from a large liquidity ad, but just considering the logic behind it, it has to be possible, even though I've never seen it and it's not something that's done commonly, if at all. So I know that if we set the allowed slippage to say 10%, and when the price moves, when we launch pigs, it caused people's transactions to fail who are trying to add liquidity using the credit contract because it's set to 10% and the price moves outside 10%, then we would have people complaining, saying, oh, we're trying to add liquidity and it's failing. And if we put no limit on it and someone got front run, then we know someone would say, hey, I got front run and I lost some of the value. So I don't want to leave any room for any kind of issue at all. So the solution to that is allowing everybody to set their allowed slippage on the credit contract. That way they can decide how much risk they want to put on the table, just like when they do a liquidity ad or a buy on PancakeSwap or Uniswap. They decide, do I want a large allowed slippage, and there's a chance that I could get front run and lose a little bit of value through a sandwich bot, or do I want to do tight slippage and maybe my transaction will fail, but at least I know about front run and I can just try a new transaction a few minutes later. So because we're launching pigs with an already deep liquidity pool, the issue of like sniping the listing and these kinds of things are not something to be worried about, because if someone does a large buy, they're doing a large buy into a deep liquidity pool, and it's just it's the same as if someone did a large buy on, Drip or BREAP right now. It doesn't hurt anybody, so it adds value. So because we added this small change to the credit contract, means we need to redeploy the credit contract and parse in the data to who's getting credited what, and we're going to do this today. So we spent all morning making these changes to the credit contract and testing it. Now, this is not a major change because we already had allowed slippage, a static global allowed slippage of 10% for everybody. So we already had the mechanic, and all we did is allow for every individual user to adjust it. So it's no major fundamental change. So it didn't take long. It took a couple hours to or not even. It took like an hour to just put in that small 2 lines of code, and then we spent the rest of the day testing it, and now it's ready to go. So we're going to redeploy the credit contract. We're going to redo the crediting. We're going to push the new UI so everybody can see their stakes. Everybody can see that we're 100% ready to go. All we have to do is unpause. All right, I'm going to be doing that tonight. First thing in the morning, I'm going to start the countdown, and I'm going to do a 48-hour countdown. The reason why I'm doing a 48-hour countdown is because I want to be able to do a couple interviews to be able to explain why we are 100% confident that when that countdown hits 0, we will go live. I want to give a couple days just to get the excitement built up and get the confidence built up. And I'm going to open up the chat, right? As soon as we get the countdown going, I'm going to open up the chat. I'm going to schedule a major interview for tomorrow and Wednesday. And then we'll, of course, do voice chat before we go live on Thursday. But I don't want to start the countdown until everybody can see their stakes and everything is 100% ready to go. So all we have to do is unpause. Now, we're at the point now where all I need to do is deploy the credit contract and credit people, which will only take a couple hours. But even knowing that, all we need to do is do a couple hours worth of work, and we'll be at the point where all we need to do is unpause. I'm being super, super, super diligent and not starting the countdown. Even right now, even though I only know there's like 2 hours worth of work to be done. Because when I start that countdown, literally the only thing left to be done is just to call a function to unpause the contract. That's it. So I want to, I don't want to start a countdown in 2 hours when we finish that to go live tomorrow, without being able to do a couple interviews, without the chat being live for a couple days, just so without everybody knowing that we're at the point that we just have to unpause when we go live. So I want to just give a couple days for that word to spread that we are ready. We're 100% ready. I want everybody to see their credits and be able to share with everybody. Look how much more value we're getting now. Look how much better the system is. I know that when everybody sees what they're credited and everybody has the confidence that all we need to do is unpause and go live, the bullishness is just going to be off the charts. Like, any bit of anxiety that has built up in the past few days will be washed away and replaced with confidence and excitement. And I want to sit in that space of confidence and excitement for a 48-hour period before we go live, rather than setting a countdown right now before we do the 2 hours worth of work, which I would never do because I'm never going to set a countdown until all we have left to do is unpause. And I'm not starting the countdown in a couple hours because I don't want it to be a rush where we make it available to everybody so they can see their stakes. We have less than 12 hours before we go live, and people, and the full word hasn't gone out yet to the fact that we're ready now. We're stronger than ever. Look how good this is. All we have to do is unpause. We're ready to go, and really let that confidence build and that excitement build, right? So I think that for the project, for the excitement and the bullishness of the project, there is more benefit to pushing everything tonight so everybody can see their stakes. All we have to do is unpause. Starting the countdown tomorrow, first thing, like around 9 in the morning. Have the countdown for Thursday at 1 p.m. EST, and then give 48 hours of heavy promotion, right? And just everybody, on all fronts, promoting and letting people know we're going live on Thursday. So that's where we're at right now. So I want people to realize that when a lot of other projects have issues, right, it takes them a year, sometimes longer, to relaunch, if they ever do relaunch. And when they have that initial issue, it's almost always a disaster where people lose their capital. And this is not the case with us, right? When we had an issue, our security protocols worked. We were immediately to start a migration to deal with it. No capital was lost. And now, 2 months later, we are ready to go. And not only are we ready to go, we made major improvements. So you just have to have some perspective, right? Have perspective on the space that we're in, how difficult this development is, and know that our development team has years and years of unwavering integrity in the space. And we're continuing to improve, and we're continuing to live up to this. So the fact that we had to take a little bit extra time should make everybody confident that we're not going with the easy way out of making a fix, quickly rushing the fix so we can get it out there to stop complaining, right? We don't care about complaining. We don't care about any of that. We care about doing it right. And this is what we're doing. So one thing that we did, that I can say that we did that needs work, and this is the reason why I've made change, is the way that we set deadlines and and countdowns. So that's something that we've made a major change to, and it's the reason why I'm not starting a countdown right now, and instead I'm starting a countdown tomorrow after we've spent tonight doing the full deployment, doing the full crediting, and get to the point where all we need to do is remove liquidity. I mean, sorry, not all we need to do is add liquidity and unpause. So, we know where we need to make improvements on that end, and we've made those improvements. So, if I was an investor in this project, right, my confidence would be building. Knowing that, look, even with all the pressure of everybody saying, just start the countdown, just start the countdown, just go live, we're remaining unwavering, and we are saying we will start the countdown when it's ready. We will go live when it's ready, when we know that it could not be better, when we know that it's perfect. And that's the goal, perfection. And that's what we're going to achieve. So, by the end of tonight, the UI will be live. People will be able to see their stakes, or people. So we're a global project. So when people's tonight begins and ends is going to vary. But before the countdown goes live tomorrow, for sure, people will be able to see their stakes. And the only thing left to do in the project will be for us to add liquidity, which is as simple as us sending the BUSD into the contract. It takes literally like 3 seconds on BSC, and unpausing, which takes 3 seconds. So as long as it takes for a transaction to confirm. So that's where right now, I was confident in the values that we credited everybody previously, but now we couldn't be more confident. That's all we did yesterday was go over all of the crediting with a fine-tooth comb, and we realized it's perfect, and people are going to be very, 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 very. The word is not coming to mind, and just so surprised, right? Happily surprised, pleasantly surprised. This is what I was thinking of. Everybody is going to be so pleasantly surprised when they're able to see their stake and realize that they have 50x more piglets, maybe 100x more piglets, maybe 2,000x more piglets, depending on where you were when you bought. Meaning, if you bought on the third day, if you bought 5 minutes after launch, the further out you bought, the more fair of a rate you're going to get. And this is because the way that pricing of truffles is done in V2 is correct. And this just creates a huge value transfer for people that were the botters in V1 to everybody else in V2. Literally everybody in V2 has more value. So, and this matters because this determines the amount of LPs that you have access to. So, if you, in the previous system, got in after the botter, which was everybody, there's only one person that didn't get in after the botter. So that means you deposited, so much LPs, and you only got credited for a small fraction of them. Where in V2 you're getting credited for all of that, and it's going to make a huge difference, right? In all aspects, the project is going to be so much more sustainable. Trust me, everybody's going to be happy when they see their stakes when it goes live. So that's the state of everything. I want the chat to be live right before we go live. So when I start the countdown tomorrow, I'm going to open up the chat. The chat will be open for 48 hours until Thursday morning. Then on Thursday morning, I will mute the chat just because the scammers and everything. But we made an improvement on that as well. So we added some new anti-raid mechanics into our bots that help manage the chat. That should even put a stop to that. So this is why I'm more confident in opening up the chat tomorrow before we go live. So that's that, guys. I would say be patient, have perspective, realize that what we're doing is not easy work, but we're doing it the right way, and that takes time. Realize that the way that we set our countdowns before and deadlines was not done in a proper way, and we've made the change to this. So when we start the countdown tomorrow, it's with the assurance that when it hits 0, all we have to do is call one function and it goes live. People already have the PIGGY V2 token contract, so you see the tokens already listed. You have what you need to buy it when it goes live. We don't need to unpause and then share all that info. You already have it. So just be patient, guys. All of this is happening for a reason. It's happening so we can ensure that when we go live, it's perfect. And then from this point moving forward, we're building everything from the ground up, right? And we're building everything from the ground up with these lessons learned. And there's so much more left to do. So much more I'm so extremely bullish about, right? This scratch ticket protocol, the lending protocol, the partnership that we have with the major DEX, which is about 2 weeks away from launching. So trust me, guys, in 2 days, this is going to be live. Everybody's going to be so excited about their stakes, so excited about the way Pigs is performing, and then the future is ahead of us, right? And we're going to dominate. So just be patient, have perspective, realize that although it's taking a while, we're getting things done faster than any other dev team would. We protected capital in the face of adversity better than any other dev team would. And now, when we set that countdown, all that's left to do is unpause. We go live, and Pigs is set to, I'm not going to say a price prediction, but you know what happens when there's 3% in circulation and an investor base of 50,000 people. And all the incentive in the world to lock up those pigs. So stay patient, guys. We're going to be promoting, right? I'm going to be spending the next 3 days heavily promoting to just, make everybody aware. Because I think after these, hurry up and wait, we need a couple days of the countdown going where people can be confident that when it hits 0, it goes live, for us to just be promoting heavy to let people know, okay, guys, we're ready. Come on, pay attention. Snap into it. Let's go. We're about to go live. We need that right now. So that's why we're doing it like this. And that's it. I will be doing an interview tomorrow. I'll be announcing it tomorrow morning when we set the countdown. It'll be an interview that everybody will love. It's a well-known member of the community that has a very large following, and that we haven't done an interview with in a long time. So that's that, guys. Stay patient. Know that we're doing this for you, and we're our target is perfection, and that's what we're gonna hit. So thank you, guys. I'm gonna jump off now. Text chat will be live tomorrow. Countdown will be live tomorrow, and we're about to show them, really what we're made of here, right? We are setting the standard for essentially every single aspect in DeFi. We're setting the standard for variable time locking protocols. We're setting the standard for how you handle it when something comes up, when something unexpected comes up, how you protect investor capital, how you successfully relaunch, how you get the V2 out in a period of time that is, months, if not years ahead of the competition. So just have that perspective and know that we've been working all day, every day, literally. So thanks, guys. I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be on, of course, when I unpause the text chat, I'll be all over the text chat. And, I've been talking in other groups, right? So, where, the crypto winner circle and the barter towns and the gens and these groups, I've been in there, right? So I've been in there talking. I just don't want to unpause this chat until the countdown's live because I don't want to have a million questions of when countdown, when can I see stakes, when countdown, right? So I want to unpause this chat when the countdown is live and when people can see their stakes. That way we don't have a million questions about that. And also I don't want to have a million scammers. So this is another reason why we're keeping it muted right now. But I have been relatively active in other chats, just, talking to the community and stuff. So, be active in the other communities, the big communities that are heavily invested in our projects. So that's it, guys. I'm going to hop off now. Thank you so much. I couldn't be more confident in where we are right now. So, it's just a matter of time, just a matter of a couple of days, and we're going to show what we're made of. So, all right, guys. Bye.